Hello, welcome to this month's business tips. As well as doing the tax news this way, I thought I'd deliver the business tips as well. Very immediate forum. So 5-minute rundown for the month. We are covering a few topical items, remote working practices, things you need to consider, things you need to do, a top tip for the dual screen displays that I have found during the month, thoughts to do with building a resilient customer and supply network, and my 5 or 6 top tips for giving webinars, having now become a super duper expert, having done 3 or 4 of them. Anyway, without further ado, are you considering working more from home? Have you found that your staff are working more from home? Chances are most people are saying yes. Certainly if you are administrative based, paperwork based is something that is very much on the agenda, very much doing. We have been quite a work from home organization for quite a long period of time. We went into hosted desktop. UK is the name of the company that actually provides our infrastructure. It allows us to access our computer network from anywhere, and it actually sits in the cloud. You can have it on computers, you can have it on a phone, you can have it whatever. Very good company. The practices themselves have to be considered if you are going to do that, and if you want some help with suppliers who are appropriate for your infrastructure, please do let me know, or even better still, let Mo Salim know. Mo, who a lot of you may not have ever spoken with, is our internal guru of all things infrastructure, and is the one that actually keeps us pretty much going in terms of having things. Mo can give you some top tips for suppliers, for software, hardware, practices, things you should have in place. Very happy to share those with you. Stuff that you do want to consider is making sure you've got a decent desk if you're going to work from home, making sure you've got a decent chair working from home. Desks, I would tend to buy new. Chairs, I would tend to buy second-hand from eBay, and my best advice would be look for a brand called Orange Box. Brand new Orange Box chairs cost a fortune. They're about £1,000 a piece, but you can usually get them for 50 to 60 quid on eBay, reconditioned or second-hand. Certainly you're going to want that if you're sitting at home, or if your staff are sitting at home. Bear in mind, if you're having staff working from home, you still have a duty of care towards them, which means you also need to look at your working policies and procedures. Now, you can easily get into a lot of administration rewriting these, so the top tip of the month for these ones is look to join the Federation of Small Business. Federation of Small Business is not something that I have put in a lot of newsletters, but once upon a time I used to promote heavily. It's a couple £100 a year to be a member of the FSB. And I think it is just fsb.org.uk if you're looking for it. They give a range of benefits for members, including a HR support line and all the pro formas and templates necessary to produce really high quality procedures, documentation, handbooks, etc. for your staff. It's not something that we offer ourselves, but we do it internally. So again, happy to have a chat with you if you want to talk through anything you're doing, but it is, in my opinion, it's not formal advice if we're doing that. FSB also have access to things like telephone systems and hosting, etc. And again, ours actually do come through the FSB. We are long-term members, so I would say have a look at those. The other sorts of stuff you might want to consider is things like Zoom calls. Again, we've got loads of top tips available for those if you want me to share any of the resources that we've learned for the last couple of months. The next fantastic one that I found for working from home. In the office, we have dual screens. At home, in my office, I do have a dual screen, but if it happens to be in use by someone else within the family, I have been cramped up on a little laptop in the lounge. What I found was an app this month called Duet Display, D-U-E-T Display. That's duetdisplay.com, also available from the Apple iTunes Store, and the other one, which I don't use, whatever that's called, Android Store, also available from. It is a paid app, it's $9.99, but what it allows you to do is use your iPad or Android tablet, or even your iPhone as a second screen. It extends the desktop for you and allows you to do that. So rather than having to have new screen drivers or buy anything particularly complicated or set up or get involved in IT at all, you can just extend the desktop that way. Great little app for $9.99, well worth having a look at. Thoughts to do with supply chain and customers at this stage. I think particularly, again, this is going to be a theme for a while. It is essential you stay in touch with people as best you can. We've had a load of lovely feedback from you guys through this for the communications we've put out. A lot of that has been written. We have done some videos, and increasingly I'm moving towards videos, as you will see, because again, the feedback has been very strong in this regard. We are learning as we go. We have now invested in a proper microphone. We've invested in a proper background and all the other good stuff that you need if you're going to start doing videos. But it's not expensive, by the way, if you do get to it. And if you'd like some of the information and resources on that, please do shout out. I already know of one client who wants the background that we have. But if you are going to come out the other side successfully, not only do you need to be in touch with your customers regularly, I would also urge you to be in touch with your suppliers regularly. Particularly those suppliers, if you're in some sort of manufacturing business that you're going to rely on heavily coming out of this, spare a thought for them as well. Give the telephone call, have a word with them, talk to them, pick up that phone, pick up that email, stay in touch with them. I actually do a newsletter of sorts to all our key suppliers and try and stay in touch. It's quite important. Some of them have been really valuable to us over the years and are the people that I will happily recommend to you. So give that thought if you are looking to pivot, change, and work more from home. They may not be as in touch as they once were because they can't drop into the office. And finally, my 5 minutes is nearly up. So effective webinars and effective presentations like this. There is really 6 points to actually consider. One, the topic you're going to cover. Make sure you've got a clear topic before you start. Very easy to turn one of these on and drift all the way through it. The second thing is you do need to promote whatever it is you're offering, particularly if it's going to be sales-based. You need to get out there. I am going to be doing, or I'm in the process of preparing a LinkedIn recording. I learned a lot about LinkedIn recently. I'm also in the process of learning about Facebook. I increasingly believe they are a fantastic platform for small businesses to work through. I think there is a form of recession coming. I think certainly in corporates there's going to be some layoffs in September, October time when the furlough scheme starts ending, which means I foresee lots of opportunity for small businesses to actually grow, believe it or not. There's going to be some top talent around. There's going to be opportunities to also consider things more like franchising and self-employed sales agents and sales reps for your business. So if you're going to try and tap into those, you're going to need to promote your your webinar. If you've got a customer list, that's a great way. Clearly, that's why you guys are looking at this. If you've got a suppliers list, again, that's a great way. Otherwise, start looking at things like Facebook, Twitter, the other social media platforms. A lot of learning to be done about those. They're a lot more complicated than I initially first thought, and I did dismiss particularly Facebook for a long time, but I'm changing my mind. You need to practice. Believe it or not, 5 minutes of this takes about 2 hours to prepare. I know that's surprising considering how amateur I'm sure I sometimes appear with my ums and ahs, but that is the truth of this. You need to practice. You need to actually give thought to how you come across on these. Some great tools and resources around the internet, but do have a look for those. You also need to ensure your timing is right. That's my next top tip. Clearly, I try and get these in within 5 minutes. I have quite a natural fast-paced style. I drink a lot of caffeine, which means I am always caffeinated. And as that is quite clear in some of these, you need to be able to adapt your timings and know what your style is going to be like in preparing these sort of videos. Not finally, the next point is choose the right platform. For my podcast, which is not professional advice and is more generally related, I went on one of the biggest platforms available for all, which is Podbean. For these, we're putting these out through YouTube and then distributing and promoting them through our MailChimp client only distribution channel. So you're very privileged in being able to listen to me pontificate, but the platform is particularly important. We are using Zoom a lot for the recording and editing, and then allowing it to be broadcast through YouTube. Give thought to those. Again, I've got loads of downloads available if anybody's interested. And finally, make sure you follow up. Follow-up is really important. Follow-up is something I am terrible at doing and am desperately trying to improve upon. Follow-up in all sorts of ways, the closest of which is keep talking to people, particularly on the telephone. And again, I'm terrible at the telephone because I am frightened of it. But again, I am improving. So they are my monthly top business tips. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you next time.